What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Nice little start to February right here with the Reign of Fire exotic boots for the Warlock and our Solar subclass this season. Since we got a good long while left in this season, wanted to give you a very fun build that I haven't come out with really since these boots came out. So this will give you the ability to keep up the Radiant with those fusion and linear fusion rifles, as well as give them some nice reloads when we dodge mid-air for all of our weapons. So it is a very good DPS build this season, as well as ad clear. So starting us off, you can see right here for our boots and our stats that we're going for is resilience, recovery, as well as strength on this. Now we're using the soaring fusilizer, so air dodging reloads all of our weapons and improves the airborne effectiveness of fusions and linear fusions. Final blows with these weapons make us radiant, provides a moderate benefit to airborne effectiveness for fusions and linear fusions again. So with this, we're going to be using in each of our slots some type of fusion or linear fusion, making this build even better. Now for the armor mods that I play with on this build is first off the thermodynamic siphon from our artifact this season, allowing us to have solar as well as stasis. This should be strand, not stasis, so you can use this to get orbs of power on both of those. We're going to be using dynamo as well, so when we throw down our rift near targets, we're going to get our well back a little bit faster. Using momentum transfer, impact induction, and focusing strike, just allowing us to spam our abilities between our grenade, melee, as well as our rift. Chest piece for me, I usually always use for that end game content, especially some type of resistant mods. So what I was going through in the gameplay had void and solar, so that's why I went with that. Now to add to the damage of this build, as well as the ad clear potential with becoming radiant because of our boots, as well as our subclass and our artifact, we're going to get that nice 17% increase to damage on our solar weapons with the weapon surge here, and then time dilation to keep it going on a little bit longer with Reaper to have us have a little bit extra orbs of power. Now as for our weapons, like I said, on our helmet we have that solar and strand siphon because of the scatter signal right here. Very good for DPS. On top of that, the Vex with the mode that it got a buff in its linear fusion mode. Once you get some defeats, absolutely maps those champions and some of those stronger yellow orange bar enemies. So this right here with this build of becoming radiant as well as reloading on those Icarus dashes makes this thing very good, with on top of that cataclysm, so we can get bait and switch to proc, plus that 17% damage increase from our solar weapon surge on our boots. Moving on to our artifact right here, we're going to be focusing on these up here. First off, this is that flame, fiber, and freeze, so we can have the solar strand siphon combination. Flint strike as well as kindling trigger, rapid solar weapon precision hits and defeats have the chance to give us that radiant, which doesn't matter too much because we are going to get it very easily with our boots, but it'll help as well. On top of that, radiant causes solar weapons to apply scorch, so our Vex is absolutely destroying those ads as well as applying that extra little bit of scorch to those yellow and orange bar enemies. Now we're going to have torch as well, so while radiant we deal increased weapon damage to combatants affected by strand, in our case, or stasis by somebody else, maybe on our fire team, but we're going to be able to apply that unraveling because of this mod in unraveling orbs and with our strand fusion rifle. On top of that, horde shuffle, damaging those unraveled targets with a weapon occasionally spawns threadlings, so a nice little strand that we have combination of unravel as well as threadlings. Now we're going to be using revitalizing blast as well as raise of precision to cause those ignitions while radiant on solar precision final blows, as well as weakening those bosses and champions for a short time with our solar abilities, so our grenade as well as our nice incendiary snap. Now, when we move on to our Dawn Blade, we're going to be using Well of Radiance for that survivability on this build, making it a good change for endgame instead of using something like Dawn Cores with Daybreak, which is really the only way I would play with Daybreak in that endgame content. Now, for me, I'm using Healing Rift for that endgame again with Balance Glide, as well as our Incendiary Snap for that extra little bit of Scorch, as well as Fusion Grenades, because I have really been liking them inside of the PvE realm, especially when we pair it with Touch of Flame, so the Fusion Grenades will explode twice, helping us with this build in my personal opinion. And then, of course, we need Icarus Dash on this build to dodge well Airborne, which will proc our Rain of Fire on our boots, giving us the reload for all of our weapons, and then just being able to continue with wiping out adds, or for that damage on those enemies. You can basically do an entire clip of your heavy, dodge, doing another entire clip, dodge, it'll be back before you run out of most of your magazines with the cooldown on Icarus. Now, when we move on to our fragments, Ember of Empyrean right here, solar weapon or ability final blows extend, restoration, and radiant, so that radiant is going to be up consistently with this build. On top of that, Ember of Ashes, we're going to apply more Scorches of Stack to both of these right here, because this scorches as well as fusion, so we're going to get extra stacks of that. With Ember of Searing, defeating the scorch targets grants us a melee as well as fire sprites. Then we're going to use those fire sprites to give ourselves restoration, as well as when we revive an ally or somebody revives us. So right here is a good little synergy that we have of with Empyrean, keeping up the restoration that we're getting from Mercy. All of that Scorch that we're getting from Ash and our Snap and Grenade creates those fire sprites from us. Plus, in general, we're going to get Scorch because of our solar weapon with a Vex Mythoclast, as well as the artifact allowing us to scorch those enemies very, very easily, as well as precision hits, giving us those ignitions. So the buff 1 to Vex is absolutely nasty, being able to just juice some of those stronger enemies when it's in its linear fusion mode. And then we're going to have Cataclysmic to back it up for that DPS, as well as our Strand Fusion Rifle is very good with Overflow Controlled Burst, especially if it has Unraveling Rounds adding to the DPS side of this build. Then all of that Scorch and Ignitions is where the add clear comes into it. So very good updated build here for the Rain of Fires. Like I said, haven't brought this out in a good second since they came out way back in the day. So hopefully you guys enjoy this solar build. Lots more to come this season. Going to be switching up the content a little bit, especially on streams, since we do got quite some time left in this season. Going to get a little bit stale for y'all as well as for me. So appreciate all that support. I truly appreciate all y'all. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.